When you see a girl that is so completely and obviously out of your league that you have no idea how to approach her, and you know that you're so chopped that she will probably say no. But there are a small percentage of people who still find a way to go up to that girl and bag her. And you have literally no idea how you did it, but somehow you were able to pull it off, and you feel extremely confident, and it gets to a point where you become so protective of this woman that you bagged because you know that she's out of your league, but she's with you. And you can't understand why she's with you because you believe that you're so chopped, and all these thoughts are coming through your head. Now, something very similar happened to me when I was 16 years old. There was this girl who, in high school, I believe was the most attractive girl in school. And I had seen her a couple times. I never had a class with her, and she was 1 year below me. I was a sophomore, and she was a freshman. And I somehow built up the courage to send her a DM. And this was a couple weeks after COVID, by the way. And somehow my DM, very strange first DM, it somehow worked. And it worked so well that she became my girlfriend. It was the first ever actual relationship that I had, even though it was during the COVID time, so it was a little bit complicated and very hard to see her. But I was completely and utterly obsessed with this girl. It got to a point where it was the only thing I cared about. Unfortunately, a couple months into that relationship, she changed her mind and gave me a call one day and told me that it was over. And my little 16-year-old self was completely devastated. Obviously, I tried to get her back, and it did not work. And I tried many methods to get that love back from her, but it just did not seem to work. It got to a point where I told myself I am going to achieve everything I ever told myself I would do to prove her wrong. And things kind of started working even before. Not now. I'm 21 years old now. This is a very, very, very long time ago. And I've completely moved on from this girl. But I promise you this story is going to make sense. And I wanted to prove her wrong so bad that I worked on certain things, and nothing seemed to work. But eventually what started happening was the things that I wanted to do for the sole purpose of proving her wrong started becoming something else entirely. It started becoming a reason for myself. And that initial trying to prove somebody wrong completely disappeared. And it became something in the background. It became something that didn't matter anymore. It didn't matter what she thought about me. I was moving on. I was letting go. I didn't care who she dated. I didn't care who she was with. I didn't give a fuck about what she was saying, what she thought about me. Because I was on a journey. I was on something different. She didn't deserve to be a part of that journey. Maybe that's why the universe allowed that to happen, for her to leave, for her to want something else. And eventually, what starts happening, and I see this is very common, is that initial hatred, that initial desire to prove somebody wrong, whether out of spite or because she broke your heart or something, kind of starts disappearing when things genuinely start working and you switch your mindset to want to do it for yourself and not for anybody else. Things recently have been working. I haven't thought about that girl in a very, very, very long time. Now, there has been many other ones along the way. We can get to all those different stories because they're very, very good as introductions to all of my videos. And this was just one that I picked out today. My journey has led me to this here. In the last 7 days, I have made $8,600 in revenue. Now, gentlemen, and some ladies, if you guys are watching, this is obviously not all profit. I would say the profit margins here are about 30 to 35%. It's actually very interesting because I started taking e-com seriously about 1.5 months ago. I tried doing organic dropshipping. I tried doing other forms of dropshipping. And I think I was genuinely just half-assing it. And by starting this channel and documenting my journey, it allowed for me to keep myself accountable, because there were people watching. So I couldn't let them down. I couldn't let myself down and stop posting, because I want to record my journey. I want people to see that it's possible to go from 0 to 100, and not in any scammy way, not hiding anything, not being sneaky about your true intentions. This is just genuinely me documenting my journey. I've made $8,600 in the last week, and I genuinely feel very, very different. People often say that when you hit your first 10,000, it's the best feeling in the world, and I genuinely think it's one of the best feelings in the world. I've made over 12,000 on this product alone, and it's been 2 weeks. In the last week, it's been 8,600, and I have proof here. Let me refresh that. Yeah, that's 8,600 in 1 week. You can see my next payout is $1,200, and I want to show you guys today. Today we are at $900. It's 2 in the afternoon, and we have the full day ahead of us. So I'm estimating that today we're going to reach 1.4, 1.5. Yesterday, 1.4 thousand. The day before that, 1.2 thousand. The day before that, 1.5 thousand. And the day before that, 1.1, 1.2, 1.1, 1,000, and 600 on the 27th of May. So it's been 7 days of $1,000 a day, every single day, the last 7 days. I still have my job, okay? I'm not in no fucking penthouse, alright? This is not me flexing anything. I haven't bought a Lambo yet, right? But this right here is proof that anybody can do this shit if you just put in some work and dedication. Let me show you guys the all-time, May 16th to the 4th. So it's been roughly maybe 18, 19 days, and I've made $13,000, and I keep getting more and more every single day. And I keep changing things on my website, and I keep adding downsells and funnels and upsells and offers that just keep on working. And I genuinely feel like it's impossible for me to lose now. There have been a couple of problems, and this is something that I wanted to discuss today, is that it's all sunshine and rainbows when you're showing these results, but there's a lot of shit that happens behind the scenes that people don't realize, that the problems never go away. Reaching 10,000 a month, this is 10,000 in about 2 weeks and a half. I had that goal of achieving $10,000 a month since I was 16, since that girlfriend, right? Since trying to prove her wrong. And I have hit that in less than a month. I hit that in 2 weeks and a half of starting my third product. And it surpassed that, $13,800. And that's great, that's awesome, but there's still, people don't realize that the problems will never go away. There's a lot of problems that come with, I guess, being broke or having a 9-to-5 or having any normal job and paying bills and doing all this shit and this going to college or whatever it is that you are actively doing. There's always problems that happen. And a big misconception is that when you are in the process of getting rich, or you get rich, or you have a lot of money, those problems go away. And it may be true that those certain problems do go away. You don't take into account the fact that new problems start coming, different problems. You're gonna have to choose which problems you're more okay with. The problems that come with the fame and the money and having to handle customers and businesses and failing things that just can't seem to work, or the problems that come with a normal life, right? I don't mean to say like a normal life is bad, or that it's less than starting a business or doing something online. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, but I'm just telling you that you have to kind of choose which problems you want to take. and to try to fix and to keep moving forward and fix them and go through them as obstacles, because the problems will just change. They will never really go away. There's been issues, there's been problems every single day since I started, but my mindset shifted and stopped putting these problems to a side and seeing that there's an issue that is arising. I'm going to get to it as soon as I possibly can, rather than putting it off and pretending like things are okay and then fixing it later. Because when you have that mindset, it will be too late before you can actually fix it. And I think that if you have a sense of urgency and try to fix these problems before they do any actual real damage, then I think you could succeed in online business and business as a whole. For example, yesterday my ad account got restricted, and as soon as it got restricted, I went on ChatGPT and tried to fix it myself, and I made a couple of phone calls and I talked to a couple of people that knew about ad restrictions, and I got it fixed that day, right? There's a lot of different things that are going to happen when you're scaling really quickly or starting to make a suspicious amount of money. Things really start happening. Your bank starts declining things, and you have to fix that. And then you have to fix, for example, issues with your ads. And again, this is just an example of what I'm doing, because what made me $13,000 in a month, 2.5 weeks, is meta ads and branded dropshipping. I don't know what you want to do, but I know that the more you try to get shit done, there will be more and more problems that you just simply have to get through. And if you're not willing to get through these problems and try to and fix them, then unfortunately it's not for you, because there's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of issues that you're going to have to solve. But I think the payout outweighs the cost 100%. Waking up every day the past 2 weeks and getting sales at night while I sleep has been the biggest motivator for me, because I wake up, I see my phone, I made $500 while I slept, and then I have more motivation to fix. I have so much motivation to fix all these problems that are coming my way, because I can see visibly the results of what happens when I do fix these problems. And now, guys, I don't want to get too technical here. This is more of a mindset video and explaining to people how it's possible. It's genuinely possible. And to be honest, I've been putting off really making a technical video, a logistical video, because again, I'm a beginner. There's some things that I don't know what I'm doing, but it's working. I obviously want to show people exactly how I'm doing things. I also want to be wary of the fact that there are some things that I am doing that may not be entirely correct. There are some things that I'm doing that are pretty much guessing, right? They're educated guesses, and I guess they seem to work. But this is just me showing my journey, and I'm not advanced. I'm not no guru. This is just me showing my journey to the people, and you guys seem to enjoy it very much. Again, guys, if I can do it, make $13,000 in 2.5 weeks, then absolutely anybody can achieve this if they just put in a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and cut out all the other bullshit, cut out all the noise, focus on this thing, become obsessed with this thing like it's the only reason you breathe. And that's genuinely what I lived for a couple months before this started taking off. I lived and I breathed. I lived and I breathed this shit to a point where nothing else mattered, and I became very, very selfish, not in a malicious way, but because I needed to be selfish, to only focus on this and forget about everything else and forget about anyone else, in order to be selfless later. When things start working and showing results, then I can be selfless and help others and teach other people. But you need to be selfish for a little bit. Focus on yourself, focus on the grind, and I promise that things will 100% work out for you. That's it.